giant hole larger than the country of Netherlands has now opened up in Antarctica's Weddell Sea. It's baffled scientists who are trying to figure out why.
New life under an ice shelf, and the discovery was an accident.
Secret diaries reveal Admiral Richard Byrd discovered a hidden entrance at the South Pole, leading to a lush paradise beneath the ice, complete with crystal-like cities. In 1946, he led Operation Highjump to Antarctica with 13 ships, 23 airplanes, and over 4,700 troops. Many suspect this was more than a simple exploration. It was a military operation to exterminate aliens. Why are the Admiral's confidential journals strictly forbidden and out of reach in the darkest corners of the U.S. archives? Let us explore why the government is so afraid to expose the alien truth that could lead to a new world order. The Master's ultimate plans. Admiral Richard Evelyn Byrd, Jr. was born on October 25, 1888, in Winchester, Virginia. He was a famous American who worked as a naval officer, pilot, and explorer of the polar regions. He finished his studies at the U.S. Naval Academy in 1912 and then started a career where he was one of the first to use airplanes to explore icy polar areas. Byrd won many awards for his brave work, including the Medal of Honor and the Navy Cross. So why did Byrd put together such a big operation? After World War II wrapped up, someone asked him to take all these ships and people down to the cold, icy land of Antarctica for 4 months. They planned to go during the warmer months there, which are December to March. But things didn't exactly go to plan, and by February, there was a big twist. One of the main things they were supposed to do was see if they could set up military bases on the ice. But as Byrd poked around, he supposedly ran into something unexpected. Here's the best part. He found this alien entity out according to his private diaries, which no one knew until after he'd and his son found them. In these secret diaries, Byrd also wrote about flying objects that looked like saucers took control of his airplane and landed him. Once on the ground, he met a character he called the Master. This Master wasn't too happy with humans, especially because of the nuclear bombs dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. He told Byrd that they were really disappointed in how humans were messing up, and they hoped we'd stop using such dangerous weapons. This whole story from Byrd's diaries feels like it's straight out of a sci-fi book, filled with elements of Cold War tension and a bit of government conspiracy. Apparently, the government thought this story was too scary for people to hear and decided to keep it under wraps. For those who dig UFO stories, the tale from Admiral Byrd's diary really stands out. It all starts around the time UFOs became a hot topic, right after World War II ended and the first atomic bombs were set off. There's also a curious spike in UFO sightings near nuclear missile bases during this period. It seems Byrd's account aligns with several other stories where beings from the sky or beyond worry about how humans mess with nuclear weapons. Some Air Force officers even claim that these supposed extraterrestrial beings have shut down their missile systems, probably fearing we might not only destroy ourselves, but also hurt the planet, our shared home. Now, assuming Byrd's secret diary is the real deal, opens up some massive questions. Is it possible that super advanced societies live under the earth, watching our every move on the surface? His diary tells us he had an unbelievable meeting with such beings. Right after this wild experience, Byrd was apparently dying to tell everyone about it, but got quickly shut down by his bosses. When he got back home, they took him straight to a government facility and told him he must never talk about what he saw. It was all now classified info. This whole situation makes you wonder, is there a deeper, ancient story here? Old legends from around the world talk about strange beings living under the earth, and now we've got modern stories about UFOs. Folks who believe in ancient astronauts, a theory that suggests aliens have been influencing human civilization for ages, think all this is connected. They believe we're getting closer to a time when we might actually meet these beings from inside the earth. What does this tell us about how the government handles such incidents? There's a pattern here. Whenever someone reports something extraordinary that could shake up how we see the world, there seems to be a rush to cover it up. Byrd's experience, if true, isn't just an isolated adventure. It's a piece of a much bigger puzzle that includes ancient myths and modern-day UFO sightings. Antarctica is definitely one of the most extreme places on the planet. It's almost entirely covered in ice, which in some places is as thick as 3 miles. If you were to put a giant mountain like Mount Fuji there, it wouldn't even show up above the ice. The temperatures are freezing, sometimes dropping to 50 degrees Fahrenheit, and the winds can blow super fast at up to 200 miles per hour. Even with these tough conditions, during the busiest times, about 4,000 people, mainly scientists and military personnel, manage to live there. It's one of the last big challenges left for humans on Earth, like something out of an old adventure book warning you about the dangers ahead. For about 250 years, people have known about Antarctica, but we still don't know much about it. What's hidden under all that ice is anyone's guess. People who enjoy exciting stories, like those who believe in ancient astronauts, have some wild ideas about this place. They think Antarctica isn't just a huge block of ice. They believe that underneath all that ice, there might be all sorts of hidden activities going on, and maybe not just by people, but by beings from other planets too. As we look closer at Antarctica's secrets, there might be unexpected things hidden under its ice and snow. Spartan 1's amazing story. But the excitement doesn't stop there. Some people think Antarctica is more than just a faraway place covered in ice. They see it as a possible meeting spot for aliens. Yes, aliens. For years, there have been whispers and rumors about strange things happening in the quiet, dark parts of this cold continent. If there's any truth to these stories, and if there really are aliens in Antarctica, they could have been there for a very long time, maybe hundreds or even thousands of years. Imagine if these ideas are true. What an incredible thing that would be. Could there be unknown cities or technology hidden deep beneath the ice, waiting to be discovered? Some people say that this is possible. They picture a whole other world under there, with its own stories, and maybe even a connection to places far beyond Earth. And think about the day-to-day life of those brave enough to live in such an extreme place. The scientists and military folks who stay there must adapt to the cold and isolation. They study the weather, the ice, and the unique environment. It's a tough job, but their work helps everyone else learn more about one of Earth's last frontiers. You might wonder, why would aliens choose such a harsh, cold place? The theorists have ideas about that too. They say maybe it's the perfect spot for aliens because it's so secluded and hard to reach, which makes it easy to stay hidden. Plus, the extreme conditions mean not many people want to go and poke around, which could be just what secretive aliens would need. Antarctica is so vast and unexplored that we have barely scratched the surface. Now and then, scientists discover new species of animals and strange ice formations that no one knew existed. So the idea of finding something really unexpected, like a hidden alien base, stirs up a lot of excitement and curiosity. It's like the ultimate adventure story. Now, if we really start to dig into these alien theories, we have to ask some big questions. What would it mean if we found out aliens had been living on Earth all this time? How would that change the way we see our world and our place in the universe? These questions make some people uncomfortable and others incredibly curious. In July 2018, Linda Moulton Howe received a call from someone with a pretty wild story about Antarctica. This person wanted to keep his identity secret and went by the nickname Spartan 1. He told Linda he used to be a Navy SEAL and talked about a time in 2003 when he was part of a special hidden mission that pretended to be a scientific trip. Their main goal was simple: find a specific person, get important information from him, and bring it back. Spartan 1 shared a fascinating story about what they found. He said when they got to the place they were supposed to go, they saw a huge 8-sided building coming out of the snow and ice. Even though it was freezing outside, the team decided to go inside. Spartan 1 mentioned that what they could see was just a small part of the building, as most of it was buried under the ice. The doors to the building were incredibly thick, about 18 to 30 feet. But they were so easy to open that you could push them with just one finger. Once inside, it felt like they were in a completely different world. Despite the freezing temperatures outside, it was warm inside, like a nice spring day. The place was lit up with a weird green light, but no one could figure out where the light was coming from. The walls had strange symbols on them that looked like hieroglyphics, but they were unlike any that had been seen before. As Spartan 1 and his team walked through the building, They explored long hallways and big rooms that seemed to stretch far beyond the visible part of the building. The design and construction of the place suggested it was made with some kind of advanced technology, way ahead of what is known today. They found different objects and carvings that seemed very old, maybe even older than any known civilizations. The team took a lot of notes and pictures, knowing they might have stumbled upon something really important. They kept walking through the building, finding more rooms and hallways. Each new area brought more surprises, more strange symbols, more unusual objects. It seemed like every corner of this huge building had something new that no one had seen before. While they were inside, the building was silent except for the occasional sounds of ice shifting outside. It was an unusual quiet place that made the whole experience even more intense. Spartan 1 said the warmth and the odd comfort inside the building made it feel like it was almost alive, as if the building knew they were there. This adventure left Spartan 1 and his team with a lot of questions. What was this place? How old was it really? Who built it? And for what purpose? The experience seemed to suggest that there were chapters of human history that were not yet known, hidden deep under the ice of Antarctica. This trip wasn't just about finding information. It turned into a discovery that could change the way people think about ancient civilizations and what might still be waiting to be discovered under the vast, cold expanses of ice. The story from Spartan 1 brings strange details about Antarctica, making us wonder what's real and what's not. The giant doors to another planet. This story raises a lot of eyebrows. The details seem too perfect, too easy. Giant doors that move with a touch, rooms that stay warm in the freezing, lights with no visible source. It sounds like something out of a movie. And these markings he mentioned, no one else has ever reported anything like them. Is it possible Spartan 1 was telling the truth? Sure, but it's also possible he was exaggerating or even making the whole thing up. Why would he do that? Maybe for attention, or maybe he enjoys fooling people. It's hard to say. What's clear is that his story, as fantastic as it is, lacks any real evidence. There are no photos, no videos, no physical proofs, just his words. It's also interesting to think about why he would share this story with Linda Moulton Howe, of all people. Linda is known for her interest in the unusual and unexplained, which makes her a perfect audience for a tale like this. Spartan 1's story fits right into the kind of topics she covers, which are often about hidden truths or unexplained phenomena. Could there really be ancient, alien-built structures hidden under the South Pole? Imagine stumbling upon old temples and the remains of beings from another world, buried under the vast ice of Antarctica. Discovering these could be one of the biggest moments in history, shedding light on civilizations that might have existed long before our own. In the Bible, starting in Genesis 6:9, there's a story about Noah and a huge flood. God sent this flood to clean up the earth by washing away the people who were behaving badly, giving the world a fresh start. But this flood story isn't only in the Bible. In fact, many ancient cultures around the world have similar tales. These old stories, some dating back over 5,000 years, tell of a society that existed long ago but was destroyed by a massive flood, leaving just a few survivors. But this flood story isn't only in the Bible. In fact, many ancient cultures around the world have similar tales. These old stories, some dating back over 5,000 years, tell of a society that existed long ago but was destroyed by a massive flood, leaving just a few survivors. Examples include the Epic of Gilgamesh from Mesopotamia, ancient writings from Edfu in Egypt, and even stories that influenced the philosopher Plato about a drowned city named Atlantis. Plato, who lived around 360 BC, wrote about this lost continent in his works Timaeus and Critias. These writings have sparked a lot of discussions among historians and scholars, making them wonder whether these stories are based on real events or are just made-up myths. Some modern thinkers have a pretty wild idea. They believe the remnants of such an ancient civilization might be buried under the ice at the South Pole. They suggest that about 13,000 years ago, there was a thriving society in Antarctica that might have been from outer space. They think a sudden shift in the Earth's poles caused everything there to freeze over very quickly. The way Plato described Atlantis, as a highly advanced colony from another planet that ended up frozen under ice, supports this bold idea. Finding any proof of this would completely change our understanding of history. It would mean that long before modern humans, there were advanced beings here, and they might have come from far beyond our own planet. This discovery would lead us to question everything we know about human history, our technological progress, and maybe even where we originally came from. What it would mean if we found out that there were advanced beings here before us. We would have to rethink our textbooks, our history classes, and what we tell our kids about where we all come from. Such a find would not only be fascinating, but would also open up countless new questions. What kind of technology did these beings have? How did they live? And why did they come here? This could also make us look at the stars differently. If we learned that our planet was part of a bigger cosmic story, it might change how we see our place in the universe. Maybe we're not just a random planet in space, but a key part of a much larger community. This could affect how we think about space travel, how we interact with possible extraterrestrial beings, and how we handle the idea of life beyond Earth. The idea of uncovering such a civilization under the ice of Antarctica captures the imagination. It makes us wonder about what other unknown chapters of history might be hidden from us, waiting under layers of ice and time. As researchers continue to explore and connect pieces from ancient texts and geological evidence, the thought of uncovering a lost world beneath the ice keeps enthusiasts and scholars on the edge of their seats. Such a discovery would not just rewrite our history books. It could also have major effects on our understanding of technology and life in the universe. Plus, it could spark new technologies as we learn from the advancements of those who might have lived millennia before us. Scientific oddities, clear images from radars and satellites, and stories from people who've actually been there hint that we might soon know a lot more about Antarctica. Today, some people who claim to know inside information say that there's a lot about Antarctica that's being kept quiet. They believe that there are hidden bases and even whole communities that are involved with governments around the world. These insiders claim that there are ancient relics and long-lost communities hidden under the ice, and even active alien civilizations that are still operating in Antarctica right now. According to them, it's quite possible that Antarctica is being used as a base for aliens on Earth. It's the perfect spot, really remote and untouched, with hardly anyone living there until recently. Going back to Admiral Byrd's earlier times, we explore what Operation Highjump was really set out to achieve. Operation Highjump's last alien contact. On August 26, 1946, the United States started a big project called Operation Highjump. Their goal was to study and learn more about the South Pole. The man in charge was Admiral Richard Byrd. Byrd wasn't new to adventure. After finishing his studies at the United States Naval Academy at Annapolis and serving in World War I, he chose to explore new places. His most famous trip was in 1926, with Navy Chief Aviation Pilot Floyd Bennett when they flew over the North Pole for the first time. This event made headlines all over the world and earned them the Congressional Medal of Honor. Byrd didn't stop there. By 41, he had already flown by himself over the South Pole, making him the youngest admiral in U.S. Navy history. Operation Highjump was the biggest trip to the South Pole that had been done until then. It included 13 ships, 33 airplanes, and 4,700 people. Admiral Byrd led this large group. They spent about 9 months in Antarctica's cold, snowy environment, working on scientific studies and mapping the area. Some people who seem to know a lot about Antarctica say that there's more going on there than we might think. They talk about the place as if it's full of advanced activities and maybe even visits from aliens. These ideas suggest that Antarctica isn't just a remote, icy place. Instead, it's an important spot where hidden activities and old items that could teach us about our past and maybe even our future are found. Their claims go further, describing hidden bases that aren't just tucked away, but are bustling with ongoing interactions with beings from other planets. These descriptions, while tough to verify, certainly make one think and stir the imagination, pondering the impact such findings could have on international relations and our understanding of science. The idea that Antarctica might serve as a base for extraterrestrial beings uses the continent's remote and harsh environment as a foundation. These conditions make it an ideal spot for secretive operations that need to stay out of the public eye. It's not just about suggesting there might be otherworldly life there. It's about thinking through what such life could mean for our policies and knowledge on Earth. During their time there, it's said that they got into some fights. The rumors suggest they might have clashed with some leftover Nazi soldiers, or even with aliens. There are tales about strange aircraft that popped out of the ocean and started attacking Byrd's team. These so-called flying saucers were a tough match, and they reportedly beat Byrd's group pretty badly. In March 1947, Byrd came back and reported that they had run into a new kind of enemy. This enemy was lightning fast, able to zip from the top of the world to the bottom in no time. Jumping to 2018, that's more than 70 years later, a satellite snapped a picture showing a strange line across the globe. This line looked like a contrail. That's the trail of water vapor that planes leave in the sky. This particular contrail stretched a massive 12,000 miles, from the North Pole all the way to the South Pole. Now, contrails usually fade away within 30 minutes, most disappearing even quicker, like in 15 minutes. But this one stuck around, which was really odd. It hinted that whatever made this trail was moving at an unbelievable speed. These kinds of findings stir up a lot of talk. People start wondering about what's out there or what kind of technology might exist that can do such incredible things. It keeps people guessing about what's flying around in our skies, especially when you hear about stuff that doesn't match up with the usual planes we see every day. What's more, it makes you think about what happened back during Operation Highjump. If stories about battling aliens or super advanced aircraft are true, that just throws a whole new spin on history. It's the kind of thing that makes you question what else might be out there, pushing the limits of what we believe is possible. Imagine something so fast that it could zoom around the entire Earth, from top to bottom, in just a few minutes. To do this, it would have to go over 50,000 miles per hour, which is 10 times faster than the quickest jets we have today. Normally, planes leave behind a white line in the sky called a contrail, but these usually fade quickly. However, if something is moving at such a crazy speed, it could leave a contrail stretching from the North Pole to the South Pole without it breaking up. Recent satellite images and stories hint at possible unknown activities in Antarctica. Are we close to a big discovery? Fast flyers over Antarctica. This kind of speed goes way beyond Mach 10. To put that into perspective, Mach 1 is just the speed of sound, about 767 miles per hour. So, Mach 10 is roughly 7,670 miles per hour. But this strange object was zooming much faster than even that, challenging our current understanding of aerospace capabilities. The speeds reported could reshape our theories on what's achievable in aviation technology. It's like nothing we've seen or known before, pushing the boundaries of conventional science and engineering. With today's technology, especially satellite cameras, we can see things from space that are hard to spot from the ground. Back in 2016, a satellite took a photo of Antarctica and caught something unusual. There was what looked like a man-made tunnel cut right into a mountain range. It seemed too perfect to be natural, shaped just right for some sort of flying vehicle to pass through. Fast forward to 2018, and some internet sleuths, those are people who like to investigate and find out cool stuff online, announced they had found something big. They shared coordinates of a place on South Georgia Island in Antarctica where they believed a UFO had crash-landed. The photos they shared weren't blurry or unclear. You could actually see long, straight tracks on the ice, like something had skidded to a stop. These tracks were intriguing because they were so straight, suggesting that whatever made them was under control when it happened, not just tumbling out of control. This raised a lot of eyebrows and got people talking. Was there some unknown technology at play? Could there really be vehicles out there that can travel at unthinkable speeds and maneuver like nothing else we know? This sort of discovery leads to a lot of questions. People begin to wonder about the technology that could allow such incredible feats. Could there really be crafts that zip in and out of mountain tunnels or crash without much damage on icy lands? The evidence seems to hint at that, and it's made even the skeptical take a second look. It's not just about believing in UFOs or wild tech. It's about understanding that there might be things out there, technologies or natural phenomena, that we just haven't grasped yet. Every new image or piece of data could tell us more about what's possible, pushing the boundaries of our knowledge and stirring our curiosity about what's really out there. Such discussions bring together experts and everyday folks alike, all pondering over what these sightings and images might mean in the grand scheme of things. Some experts who look into the idea of ancient astronauts have noticed that a certain crashed object in Antarctica resembles a weird space object named Oumuamua. This object entered our solar system back in October 2017. At first, scientists thought Oumuamua was a regular asteroid, but its unusual long, tubular shape and the weird way it moved through space caught everyone's attention. Intrigued by its characteristics, researchers began to question whether such objects could be more common than previously thought, possibly indicating frequent visits or surveillance by extraterrestrial entities. Avi Loeb, a well-known astronomy professor at Harvard, even suggested that it might not just be a rock floating in space, but could be a probe sent by aliens. This theory aligns with other strange findings and speculations about advanced technologies possibly being used on Earth from other worlds. This raised a lot of eyebrows and got people talking, sparking debates and discussions about the implications of such potential interstellar interactions. In Antarctica, there's this large object that looks a lot like Oumuamua, about 50 yards long, and it seems to have crashed into the ice. The way this object is shaped and how it ended up in the ice makes it look like it could be a spacecraft rather than just a piece of rock. It's thought that the object might have hit the mountain at a steep angle, bounced off, and then slid across the ice for thousands of feet. The path it took, and the disturbed ice and snow around the mountain where it landed suggest a high-speed crash. The fact that this Antarctic object looks so much like Oumuamua has sparked curiosity and a lot of discussion. Could this be a real spacecraft? And if so, what happened during its crash? The crash site shows a clear trail leading from the mountain to where the object stopped, and the surrounding area looks like it's been stirred up, which isn't typical for a simple ice formation. The bigger question that comes from all this is whether online detectives using satellite images have actually found the remains of a spacecraft from another world and the entrance to an underground base that's hidden under the ice of Antarctica. The idea isn't as far-fetched as it might sound. There have been talks and theories about underground bases in Antarctica for a while now. Some satellite photos even show parts of mountains that have big holes shaped perfectly for something like a flying saucer to go in and out. If these holes are actually gateways to bases under the ice, possibly set up by extraterrestrial visitors, this possibility has excited many people who follow these topics, thinking we might not be alone on this planet and there could be advanced beings with their own bases hidden away in Antarctica. Such theories push the boundaries of our understanding and spark debates among scientists, researchers, and the public. It makes us wonder about our place in the universe and whether there are other civilizations out there. Each new finding or image from satellites adds more fuel to these discussions, making people ponder the possibilities of interstellar visitors and their motives. Could they be observing us, helping us, or are they just passing by? These are the questions that keep the conversation going and make the subject of potential extraterrestrial life all the more engaging. Could Admiral Byrd's diary hold truths about a hidden world under Antarctica, or is it all just elaborate fiction? What secrets could lie beneath the icy surface? Share your thoughts, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more intriguing stories and hidden truths.